You don't wanna disfigure on the Stoneforge easily. He's going to try and probably a force of will or something. And obviously he's also searching for a blood moon to try to stop the action of Salvador. But he got a card advantage, he got a board advantage. Now we have the end of the turn that Shama gets rid of Brainstorm. And 2 life for Faina. And now the Delver, he flips. Yes, he flips with a decay.
Let's see if he
But
actually
it's
wants to
bad.
play the Liliana of the Veil this time.
Maybe he's not. Still not counter.
So
non
he attacks for
formula.
1.
He can play Liliana and stay open with decay. So if you don't play Liliana now, yeah, it's gonna happen. Why did I really don't understand how he's
I
playing
don't understand why he decided to take
Yeah,
a land
to
away
use a land of
rather than
Faina.
just
Rather
tap a
than
land
ju-
and
yeah.
eventually uses that for Shaman just to deal
Yeah.
2 instead.
We don't know. We really don't know the choice. Burning away a land from Faina. +1. Faina
And he
discards the
discards
Stoneforge
the
Mystic
Golgari
and a
Charge.
good
So
Golgari
now he only has like 1 card left in hand, which is Liliana of the Veil. And
Yeah.
he does have 2 open lands for nothing, while he could have just
Yeah.
deal 2 extra damage with his Death Ray Shaman.
Yeah. And now for Faina, 4 mana, puts
Super Verdict, maybe. Super Verdict.
a Supreme Verdict for Faina. We told
So he did decide to go for
he did
1
decide to
Supreme
board
Verdict.
in one Supreme Verdict. I mean, in this case, obviously, it was strong because it was a 2 for
So
1.
now Salvador is in the dilemma of drawing into any spell, and if he wants to play that spell, he will be forced to discard his Liliana number 2.
Yeah.
If he draws into
But-
any land, then he will just discard the land
He
and keep his
discards.
Liliana number 2.
He discards. Okay. He discards the land. Ponder for Faina. He's down fetching.
So
something.
Liliana is now at 5.
Yeah, if now Faina finds a blood, and he finds a blood one.
He does find a Blight Bone,
But
but
he don't
he
have a red
doesn't
one.
have
Red mana.
red mana. Also, he doesn't have a quick answer to Liliana.
Yeah.
Like, he can actually drop the Stoneforge
Yeah.
and fetch for Butterskull, which is probably the best idea.
Yeah.
Like, if he does drop Stoneforge Mystic, get Butterskull, discard the remaining card, keep Butterskull, hope to draw a land, and drop Butterskull into play. This is probably your best option.
But he decided to draw another
Why?
He just decides not to drop the...
because he knew into Turach top decked by and found the spell snare of Faina. Then he cast probably now the +1. No, he didn't.
He didn't
do
not
the +1. No. We don't know why, guys. Another way brainstorm from Faina finds to find the mountain. He lacks.
So basically, he just decided not to +1
But
Liliana,
he
just to
is
keep a
lucky.
second Liliana in his hand.
Here is lucky because he doesn't find the mountain. Faina doesn't find the mountain.
Well, he does find.
He does
a
find the
Vendilion
billion
Click.
click. Yeah. Now we're probably in on throw phase. Or yeah, another top deck for Salvador. And we'll see. He's probably a ponder. Oh, no, a
Three
brainstorm.
That's crazy.
Brainstorm.
So 3 decay and 1 land. Discard.
3 decay and 1 verdant.
So the Vendilion click is safe.
Vendilion Click is
It's a good.
he's probably not gonna
answer.
leave that long unless Salvador decides to +1 discarding. What? Okay, he
doesn't
actually
+1.
it doesn't +1. And there's Vendilion Click will probably meet with a DK.
Yeah, you gotta meet the DK, but
In this case, I quite like the fact that it did not +1, but I didn't like when it didn't +1 the previous turn, if
Yeah.
you know what I mean, because it didn't
Yeah.
have access
Yeah.
to any way of dealing with Liliana before.
And
So-
finally now Stoneforge will drop the board, fetching a Battle School. But the problem is that Battle School, Faina it doesn't fetch it with a Battle School before because he doesn't have a fifth land.
So what's gonna happen now? Salvador is gonna draw.
Obviously,
He's gonna draw into
he's gonna
abrupt
use,
decay. Abrupt decay.
no, he used the Liliana ability
and-
to kill a Stoneforge.
What?
He used
Why?
the
Why?
Liliana
Why
ability.
didn't he like to just?
Because he has two cards in hand.
Yeah, well, he draw into a.
Yeah, he drew Abrupt Decay.
He draw into abrupt decay. So why did it -2 instead of just abrupt decay?
Yeah, because probably he wants to keep the abrupt decay for the Blood Moon.
Yeah, that makes sense, but not so much because
Yeah,
Liliana
but it makes sense
can make
because
can make the ultimate next turn.
no, it's now I think it's if 2 or 3 Liliana. Now Delver comes in, prompt Sword Plowshare by Faina. Now Faina finally
Council judgment.
Council of Judgment, and he kills a Liliana.
So he could have ultimate in 2 different occasions,
Yeah.
and he never
Yeah,
did.
and he never did.
Just
We don't
giving
know.
Faina enough time to find the council judgment. And when he's gonna find the 5th land? Okay, there's additional
Then
turns.
With additional
Um,
time,
Additional time. They have five
Time
more
addizionale.
five more
additional
turns.
time.
5 more turns, which is probably not gonna be enough for any of them to win this game. Which is
days
gonna
on
end
the
in for a
Battle
draw.
School of Faina. This was a key play by Salvador. He saved himself.
And that's
And
it.
cannot
It's
win is a
draw.
draw.
So it was an interesting match. Now we will discuss about the matchups between Stormblade and Backdelver and Team America. And what else? Maybe we would like to make an interview to one of the player. Yeah, Pietro, can you go to?
I can do, but I don't have much to.
Can go to take. So now I will give you
Being has been on the thing that Salvador, for a mysterious, I mean, how can I say, inclination. He doesn't want to play Liliana. He doesn't want to use Liliana. He doesn't want to embrace the power of Liliana. And this is a thing that forbidden him to win this game, despite of a double mulligan of Faina, despite of the board situation very in advantage, but he didn't really believe in Liliana and in the Liliana strategy. How do you think?
Well, I reckon that if you play Deathray Shaman on turn 1, the only reason why you don't want to drop Liliana on turn 2, having a second Liliana in your hand anyway for backup, is if you do have a really strong 2 mana, 1 mana play, which would have been into Turak plus Delver, for example. But if you only have into Turak, there's no reason to play into Turak over just Liliana plus 1.
Yeah.
And also, like, having 2 Lilianas, it did not play Liliana aggressively enough. Like, if you just Liliana plus 1, and I mean, Faina would have had to find a way to deal with it soon enough. And he refused to plus 1 up to 5 and 6.
For 2-3 turns.
2 or 3 turns in a row. Allowing Faina to get the time and find a council judgment, which was basically the only way he could deal with Liliana at the time.
Yeah.
And also, I do believe your starting head, your opponent has mulligan. Why do you rate into Turak that much over Liliana. When you do know there's no pressure on the board, there's no way for your opponent to actually
I think
attack
with
and
the-
kill
with
Liliana.
four-
Even if he does, he will use some resources to actually kill the first Liliana, and you do have a second one in your hand.
My opinion is that Salvador, after the second match, probably didn't expect Blood Moon playing 3 colors. And when he saw that Faina played Blood Moon, in the third game, he doesn't want to lose by Blood Moon. So the Turach was, you have 5 cards, if there is Blood Moon is
He
there,
had,
you have to pick it.
he had 6 cards, and he just decided to play into Turak, getting rid of 2 random cards, rather than just play the second mana and play Liliana on turn 2. Which is basically, your opponent has got 1 land in play. I mean, the second land, your best play by your opponent is what? A 2 mana Stoneforge Mystic. It's probably the best play.
Yeah.
Into
But you
Butter
can,
School.
yeah, but you
And
can
then
easily
you
face
can
with
just
minus
you can
2.
you can just minus two, and into Turak the following turn.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So,
and this is
I mean, I don't really
it's
see.
a play that will end the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way for your opponent to kill Liliana on turn 2 or kill Liliana other than Council Judgment.
Yeah.
You cannot possibly raise Liliana. Liliana will ultimate before.
I mean,
And the point is not even ultimate.
strange
I mean,
thing-
he
strange thing
you can get
is-
so much advantage of
the
Liliana.
strange thing of Salvador is that I played that deck in tournaments, and I never played Liliana because I don't feel personally, I don't think that Liliana fits a lot with the strategy of the deck. But if you decide to play it, you have to focus on Liliana strategy. And Liliana strategy is we got both with 0 cards in hand. I have better 1/1 cards. I have Tarmogoyfs, I have decays, and I have a Delver. And so I have a strategy in which we both go down with cards in hand, and I have
And then I drop a Tadzigor. On that, then I drop,
Transigo,
yeah,
then I
exactly.
drop a Tarmogoyf, then I drop a Delver, and I propose some manas to you that you cannot face. Instead, I think that in the third game, Salvador was a great. I don't know. I don't say obsessed, but very scared of a Blood Moon. So he always kept the mana for the decay. He always kept the solution possible for a Blood Moon.
Yeah, he wasn't proactive enough. He could have just dropped
Yeah.
Liliana on turn 2 and ride Liliana to victory, rather than just being scared of something that would have only happened 2 turns later.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Considering
Stoneblade
that-
deck. I mean, it doesn't really have any specifically powerful 2-drops, rather than the 1/2 fetching a Butter School, which is too slow to beat a Liliana against the deck with Abrupt Decays, against the deck with Disfigure, with powerful blockers, into Turak on the following turn. Also, I mean, he decided not to +1 twice, so I don't want to focus on his mistakes, but his opponent mulliganed twice. He didn't have particularly good hands, and he still
He did
managed
also
to.
every game he had a Detroit Shaman, but for that
Yeah.
deck is
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. Like starting your game with Death Ray Shaman on turn 1, or
Right.
without Death Ray Shaman, it really changes your
yeah,
your
it's
plan.
like a Mox Diamond in a life from the long deck.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so it's I don't know if I am Salvador, I think I threw away a victory here.
Yeah, for Salvador it's basically 2 points lost. While for Faina it's basically just you just got 1 point. You just made 1 point.
Got 1 point because he mulliganed.
I mean, it's not the end of the
twice.
world because they were both 4-0. A draw,
Yeah.
it's not the end of the world. You only have to win 2 out of 3, so
Yeah.
you're still in a decent shape. You just don't want to risk and lose in the next round and win in the next 2 and just be out on tiebreakers, which would be bad.
The thing is that probably when you decide to stay on the Delver strategy, maybe he uses a Tarmogoyf strategy instead of a Liliana strategy. This is, in my opinion, against that kind of deck. That kind of deck that has Sword to Plowshare, that has Snapcaster into Sword to Plowshare, is not a good strategy. A strategy against the deck is Liliana Tazigor. Because they are 2 menaces he cannot face easily. They are 2 menaces that he can face only with for example, in the second game, for getting rid of a Tazigur, he did have to attack with Batterskull and Bolt.
Yeah.
So he used
Trade the German token and a Bolt just to get rid of Tazigur.
Yeah.
Especially because if your main and biggest creature is a 4/4, all the Bug Delver's threats are 4/5s, easy. So Batterskull doesn't really match well against those threats, unless it's unanswered and unless Blood Moon hits play. Because obviously the problem with Bug Delver, it doesn't have any basic land, so it does rely on being mana open when Blood Moon hits play, or having at least one Death Ray Shaman into an answer. All the answers are two specific color mana anyway, so he can easily find himself, like in the second game when he couldn't possibly, just play any spells.
I think that in third game, when he chose to play into Turach and nothing else and attacking for 1, he got you 3 mana and the opponent's got 1 mana. So there's no reason you play into Turach there, because maybe if the opponent has 2 mana and got access to the third mana Blood Moon, this is into Turach can be.
Yeah, if you were on the draw,
makes sense.
I could accept the play, like it makes sense.
Because you fear a third turn Blood Moon play.
But on the play, there's no way I'm gonna ever make that play.
Yeah, now in neither situation. The only situation in which you do that play into Turach is against Adnausen Tendrils.
Yeah.
Because you have to pick away the Infernal Tutor, the Lion's Eye Diamond. I mean, you have to pick away the combo piece. So now we have another turn. We are already ready to start a new streaming, and so we just change. Okay.